Hello everyone, welcome to Shankar IAS Academy's Daily Current Affairs Analysis. Today we'll be discussing the current affairs of 24th of August 2025. So before going into the discussion, please subscribe to this channel because you'll be getting regular updation of current affairs and also relevant questions regarding the topics we are discussing. So what are the topics we are going to discuss today? Before going to that, I'm going to announce two exciting information to you. So one is you can see in the Shankar IAS Academy's IAS Parliament website the reflection of questions like from our test series. What are the questions that has been reflected in the UPSC mains examination that is happening right now? So I've given the link of the website in the description. Along with that, new test batches are coming up from October 4th in terms of Moksha, that is a mains test series. And to register that, for that also I've given you the link in the description. So what are the topics we are going to discuss today? We'll just see. So first topic we are going to discuss today is how vulture population is in danger. And next topic is how mercury is a menace to the environment and how we are planning to reduce mercury specifically in terms of medical devices. Then we'll be talking about one of the landmark technology that is being developed by Indian Space Research Organization, that is Bharatiya Antariksh Station, which is similar to the International Space Station. And then we'll be discussing about one of the very sad incident, that is the famine in Gaza, one of the man-made famine in Gaza, which is not because of any natural calamities, but because of what human beings are doing. And finally, we'll be discussing certain topics specifically focusing on preliminary importance. So the first topic, vulture conservation. So before going into the topic, we should know what is the position of vulture or what is the trophic level of vulture in the food chain. So you take any food chain, we'll be having a producer and then it goes to primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary, quaternary consumer. So once this consumption is done by the quaternary consumer, or if there is any death in terms of any of these food chain, so the next step where we have this detritus food chain starting and we have the scavenger at the starting. So what is the function of a scavenger? Vulture is one of the best example of a scavenger. So what is the function of a scavenger is that a scavenger will feed on dead and decaying organic matter, specifically the carcasses. So the carcasses will be processed by these scavengers, like tearing up of the flesh or breaking the bones, easier for the decomposers to decompose it, and that is the role of the scavengers. Scavengers specifically keeps the environment very clean and also it starts the detritus food chain. So this helps us to retain the nutrients to the environment again. This is the role of vulture in any ecosystem. So here we are going to talk about how the Assam village chiefs have made stakeholders in the vulture conservation. So the major issue of vulture population is that they are poisoned by the carcasses, where the carcasses have certain amount of chemicals, persistent chemicals. They get into the food chain and they get into the body of the vultures, and this leads to multiple issues and also decline in population of vulture eventually. So this topic we are going to discuss how an organization has brought in the village chiefs into the part of vulture conservation. So where is it happening? So it is happening in Chagyon Provenue Circle of Kamrup district in Assam. So it is 42 kilometers south west of Guwahati, so which is the capital of the Assam state. And the organization is RNYEC, so it's an Assam-based biodiversity NGO, and it is launching education, awareness and sensitization campaign. And the stakeholders now, the Gram Pradhans. So we can even see there is any question, what is the meaning of Gram Pradhan? Pradhan is the head. Village chiefs are brought inside this concept of vulture conservation. This is something you can even use it in terms of ethics question, where they are asking you attitude change, how attitude change can be brought. You can use this method, like how we are trying to bring in the chief, we are trying to bring in a person who has the power to persuade the people, and that will become a very important success in terms of environmental conservation. And this is one of the best example, you can use it in the ethics paper. So yes, so Gram Pradhans, village chiefs roped in for spreading vulture conservation awareness. So what is the cause of vulture death? So one of the important topic we'll be discussing or we'll be studying in terms of UPSC UPSC preparation is this Indian vulture crisis. So there are suspected poisoning incidents, like over 600 vultures have died in Kamrup district for last 15 years. 600 is a very large number, and mainly because of consuming the pesticide laced carcasses. So the carcasses had pesticides, like let's say the livestock is grazing, and the grazing, I mean the plants are having pesticides, and they get bioaccumulated inside the body of these cattle when they are dead, and they are consumed by the scavengers, vultures here we are discussing about, and it will lead to biomagnification issues and further health ailments in terms of vultures. So poisoning is often related to villages attempting to control the cattle predation by wild carnivores and feral dogs. So this is, they wanted to control the wild carnivores and feral dogs, but instead here the vulture population is getting affected. So there is this diclofenac, aciclofenac, ketoprofen and nimesulide used in cattle remain major threats. There are various issues like organ failures. Sometimes the egg laid has soft shells, or sometimes with no shells. So this is leading to extinction or reduction in the population of vultures. So pesticides also can cause poisoning, and here you can see the examples. So sometimes in preliminary examination we get questions like what is this? They just mention certain chemicals and they ask which of the following is related to this or something like that. So organophosphates, carbofuran. So these are the examples of pesticides which is causing the death of vultures. What is the ecological role of vultures? As we discussed, they are the nature scavengers. They keep environment disease free and clean, very importantly clean. Just imagine removing the vultures from the food chain. What will happen? The dead carcasses will just lie like that without cleaning. So what happens is that it might lead to other issues. It might lead to disease spreading. It might lead to air pollution. It might lead to water pollution. But here what happens is that these scavengers are helping in terms of addressing these carcass issues. So this decline leads to increase in diseases in humans. Like this is, there is a recent estimate that says that human deaths annually in India related to rabies and related infections are because of there is improper disposal of these carcasses. So this is linked to increase in feral dogs and unhygienic functions. And recently we just discussed few days ago about the Supreme Court's judgment in terms of managing the stray dog issues. So discussing about vultures in India, coming to the environmental concept. So there are 9 vulture species recorded in India, very, very important. So what kind of questions you can get? You can get what is the IUCN status of vultures, because we have 9 vultures species mentioned in India, natives and also vultures which have been migrating. So in this case, the IUCN status is very important because not all the vultures have similar IUCN status. So here I have mentioned what are the IUCN status. So first is Oriental white-backed vulture, so bengalensis. So Gyps bengalensis, it's native to our country and it is critically endangered. Next one is slender-billed vulture, Gyps tenurostrus. This is also critically endangered. Slender-billed vulture. Bill is nothing but the beak we are talking about. So next is long-billed vulture, Gyps indicus. That is also critically endangered. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 critically endangered species. Red-headed vulture is also critically endangered. Sarcogyps calvus, that is also critically endangered. So 4 species we have critically endangered. Egyptian vulture, Neophron Percnopterus. So this is endangered. So it is not critically endangered. So we have 4 critically endangered, 1 endangered, and we have 4 near threatened species. So Indian griffon vulture, Himalayan griffon, cinereous vulture, bearded vulture. So all these, like griffon vulture is Gyps fulvus, Himalayan griffon, Gyps himalayensis, cinereous vulture, Gyps monachus, and then we have bearded vultures, Gypaetus barbatus. So these are near threatened. So please remember the IUCN status. So recently the trend has been UPSC is asking factual questions too. So we might expect this question in the preliminary examination. So there is a population decline, that too very sharp, like since 1990s. They say that more than 95% decline. That's like a very huge number. 95% decline in some species due to the diclofenac specifically. Talking about diclofenac, we all should remember diclofenac is banned in usage of cattles. So diclofenac still is used in terms of human treatments, human beings being treated. But in terms of cattles, it has been banned. So we have something called as vulture safe zones. So it's established around breeding centers like Assam, Uttar Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh. And then we have certain initiatives to protect the vulture population, like nest guardianship initiatives. This includes community participation. So this can be also used as an example or can be asked in the preliminary examination. That nest guardianship initiative is a community participation model similar to Aryan's Sagun Mitra and Nest Guardian. So recently we are talking about this, in this content also we are talking about this NGO, Aranyak. So in international conservation, India is a signatory, very, very important point. India is a signatory to Convention on Migratory Species. This is also called as Bonn Convention. So Convention on Migratory Species, and India is a signatory too. So as I mentioned, we have certain vulture species migrated into our country. So this is one of our commitment to show that we are here to conserve the vulture species. So multi-species action plan to conserve African Eurasian vultures. We saw Egyptian vultures, we saw Bengaliensis, which is Indian vulture. So we have 9 vulture species which are both native and migratory. So the next topic we are going to discuss is about mercury poisoning. So experts call for eliminating mercury-based medical devices, because we all know very simple medical devices, thermometer, barometer. So these devices specifically use mercury to measure whatever we are trying to measure. There, it might be the blood pressure, it might be the temperature of the body. So here public health experts and environmentalists are saying that India's commitment to Minamata Convention on mercury should be upheld, and we are doing it. We are trying to move forward towards it. And what are we doing related to that? That is what we are going to discuss today. So public health experts, environmental advocates, and government officials and members of civil society organization have underscored the urgent need to phase out the use of mercury containing medical devices such as thermometers, sphygmomanometers. Sphygmomanometer is what we use to measure the blood pressure. So this can be a question: what is the usage of sphygmomanometer or as such? So where did this meeting take place? So there is a meeting, and there is a workshop. So that took place in Guwahati. So there they have discussed what is the urgent need in terms of eliminating mercury, specifically in terms of biomedical devices. So we'll discuss the topic further. So what is the event? So this is a workshop on eliminating mercury-based medical devices, and the organizers are Consumer Voice, Consumer Legal Protection Forum of Assam, Northeastern Regional Institute Management. So participant includes public health experts, environmental advocates, government officials, civil society members, etc. So major concerns. So mercury in medical devices, specifically in terms of thermometers, sphygmomanometers are used, but mercury is highly toxic. So exposure to exposure is harmful to human beings. And this question have been asked in the preliminary examination about what is the level of mercury that is poison. We don't know, the exact safe level of mercury. Mercury, when get exposed to, is poisonous. In that case, any form of mercury exposure might cause diseases. So mismanaged disposal is a major issue, because in 2011 they have estimated that approximately 8 tons of mercury has been released annually from such devices. See, 8 tons, that is 8,000 kilogram of mercury released every year annually from such devices, and 69% are from sphygmomanometers and reminders are from the thermometers. So broken mercury devices need careful handling and disposal, and that is what is the issue right now. So what is the health risk? Mercury can cross placenta, which is it can lead to bioaccumulation and biomagnification, and through placenta it can go from mother to the child, which will affect the fetal brain development. It is a very, very big issue. So long-term exposure can lead to neurological issues and developmental disorders. And what is the solution? So what is we need these biomedical devices, but what can be done? So what is the solution? Best solution is shifting to digital devices or aneroid alternatives instead of using mercuries. So training for mercury spill management in terms of healthcare is required. Even if the healthcare is using mercury based devices, when there is an accident and mercury spill has taken place, and how the mercury has to be cleaned and disposed, that kind of explanation has to be, I mean, training has to be given to the medical personnels. And training and consumer awareness on safe disposal is also important. Like at domestic levels, at homes, people might have mercury based thermometer, and awareness has to be given both in terms of hospitals and also for consumers. So what is a convention to the convention related to mercury management? And there is very important convention called as Minamata Convention on Mercury. So generally the conventions are named on the place where the conventions have come into picture. And Minamata is a city in Japan where the disease by consuming the fishes which have mercury in the body led to Minamata disease. So this convention has been named after the city where these issues have started arising. So it's a UN backed international treaty adopted in 2013 and entered into force in 2017. And what is a major aim is to protect the human health and environment from anthropogenic mercury emissions. So naturally mercury emissions are always there, but here we can only control the anthropogenic emissions, and specifically this Minamata Convention focuses on that. And talking about India, what is the role of India? What is the stand of India with respect to Minamata Convention? We are signatory to the convention and we have ratified it in June 2018. And there was the site of mercury poisoning disaster in 1950s, and that is why the convention is named after the city Minamata. So what is the obligation? Like if we are ratifying the convention, what is something we are obligated to is that we should phase out certain mercury added products, we should control emissions, manage waste responsibly. So here it is not talking about banning, it is talking about phasing out. So whenever you are reading any convention, you should be very, very careful about this. Is it banning? Is it phasing out? Is it trying to eliminate, control, regulation? All these words have to be carefully noticed and should be taken notes of. So here they are talking about phasing out of certain mercury added products. So about mercury, so we are going to talk about the elemental facts. So it is of high atomic number of 80. So it is of high atomic number of 80. And one more thing we should know is this is the only metal liquid at room temperature. So generally metals can be melted into liquids at very high temperature. But mercury on the other hand is liquid at a room temperature and it's of very high density. And toxicity, it is a neurotoxin, which means it will affect our nervous system. It can bioaccumulate in food chain like methyl mercury in fishes. So this is what I discussed right now about the Minamata disease. So the major uses, where do we use mercury? It is used in industrial process, chloralkali based functions, artisanal gold mining. Gold mining is one of the important source of mercury emission. Gold mining, like when we are trying to mine golds, it will expose the mercury to the environment. This will also lead to other issues. Electrical devices, medical devices, and now we are trying to phase it out gradually. Other international efforts, Basel Convention, very, very important. So this Basel Convention deals with the transboundary movement of disposal of hazardous waste, including mercury waste. And because of this, like because of Basel Convention, we have hazardous waste management rules notified under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. So whenever you are studying a international convention, parallelly try to study the national regulations related to it. So Basel Convention we have, and related to this we have hazardous waste management rules notified under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. And the World Health Organization has recommended mercury free healthcare by promoting alternatives. So what are the Minamata Convention measures? So we have to ban on new mercury mines. So no new mercury mines should be opened up, and we have to phase out mercury in certain products by 2025. So this is very, very important, 2025, because this is the year 2025. So there is a high possibility we might get question in the upcoming prelims. So thermometer, fluorescent lamps, etc. And reduce emission from industrial sources like coal combustion, smelting. So there was one question: which of the following are the major pollutants coming out from a thermal power plant? Obviously, mercury is one of a pollutant. So when we are trying to burn coal, the coal might have traces of mercury that can lead to mercury pollution also. So the next topic we are going to discuss is Bharatiya Antariksh Station. So Bharatiya Antariksh Station is like the International Space Research Organization is unveiling the model of BAS. So what is BAS? So BAS is similar to International Space Station. This is something we should keep it in mind. So India as a leader today, India is becoming one of the top countries in terms of space research and space technology, and this is one of the major achievement, because with similar technology, what are the countries which have similar technology? Currently only two space stations are there: International Space Station ISS, it's multinational, and China has Tiangong. So these are the two space stations right now we have. And if India successfully coming into the picture, we'll have only three stations. Like out of the top three countries, India is one of the top three countries. So what is the aim? India aims for a 5-module BAS station by 2035. So 10 years from now, we are planning to come with a 5-module BAS station. So first module BAS 1 will be launched in 2028, and BAS 1 will be 10 tons placed in low Earth orbit. Very, very important, low Earth orbit, 450 kilometers. We should know what are all the orbits we have: low Earth orbit, geostationary, geosynchronous, sun polar orbit. All these orbits, what are the distances, should be definitely known. Please go and refer to them. But this space station is placed in the low Earth orbit. Keep this in mind. Yes, so currently only two space stations, similar space stations are working, and when we are launching it, we will be the third country. And this is to make India part of the select group with orbital labs. This is something we should keep it in mind. What is BAS? This is a lab. We are going to conduct many experiments. We are going to use it as a docking station. So there are so many applications related to it, and we will discuss that. So salient features of BAS: it is indigenously developed, very important, indigenously developed, and it will have environmental control and life support system. So this will help us train the astronauts, and now we are having many ambitious programs where we are trying to send people to space stations, or to the celestial bodies like moon, Mars. So we need training. So for that, this BAS would be of a greater support. And we have Bharat docking system, Bharat berthing mechanism, automated hatch system, platform for microgravity research. So this was a question: which of the following has microgravity? In 2025, we were asked in UPSC prelims. So this BAS will have microgravity research and technology demonstration, viewports for scientific imaging and crew creation. So these are the salient features. And what are the scientific and strategic significance? So research in life sciences, medicine and interplanetary exploration will be helpful. Like what is the effect on plants? What is the effect of zero gravity in plants? Can fungi grow? Can we do agriculture in different planets? So these kind of, or what is the reaction of microorganisms? So many form of life science based research at microgravity or zero gravity can be conducted, and studies on human health in microgravity. So recently there was return of astronauts from the space station, and we studied about what is the effect of microgravity on their physiology. So this space station will help us understand those impacts. Testing technologies for long-term human space presence, opportunity for space tourism and commercial use. Space tourism is a very important concept emerging right now, and inspiring next generational careers in space science and technology, and this is one of the major importance. And now we are going to discuss one of the very sad topic: famine in Gaza. So this is the first time there is a famine in West Asia, which was entirely preventable, but still the food could not reach Gaza Strip because of the systematic obstruction of Israel. This is something very sad. So, what happened in Gaza? We'll be discussing. So, on August 22, 2025, UN has officially declared a famine in Gaza. This is first in the West Asia. 500,000 people are already facing catastrophic hunger. So, famine is confirmed in the Gaza city, and this is projected to spread by end of September to the two-thirds of the territory. And this is expected to rise almost 641,000 people are going to face hunger in the future. So, this is the Gaza Strip. So, this is very, very important. So, international relations based questions, map is something we can never ignore. We will definitely get questions from the map. So, what we are talking about, this is Gaza. So, this is the Gaza Strip we are talking about. And they will be asking you the bordering countries. So, what are the bordering countries? We have Egypt and we have Israel. So, this is the Gaza Strip we are going to talk about. And what is the water body? So, Gaza Strip is open to Mediterranean Sea. That is something we should know. So, you can see in this picture. So, this is the Gaza Strip. So, we have West Bank here. We have Israel, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon. So, Gaza Strip is surrounded by Egypt, Israel, and one side we have the Mediterranean Sea. They can ask you question based on the water bodies. So, water bodies are one of the important question we get in terms of preliminary examination. So, this is the map that we should definitely keep it in mind. So, what has happened? So, 22 months of conflict is taking place between Israel and Hamas. So, this has led to massive displacement, and there is a systemic obstruction of aid by Israel. So, this is one of tactics generally people use in war. So, instead of attacking them straight away, they cut the supplies. So, when the supplies are cut, so what happens is the people themselves will become weak, and then attacking them will become more gruesome. In that case, now the systemic obstruction of Israel with respect to food, medicine, and fuel shortages has led to this famine in Gaza Strip. So, 98% of cropland has been damaged. So, even the domestic production has been damaged. So, there is inaccessible livestock, fishing has been banned. So many issues led to famine in terms of Gaza. So, collapse of health system, safe water, sanitation, and hygiene. So, this sounds very dangerous. And now Gaza is facing the famine. So, what is the response of Israel? So, Israel's foreign ministry is denying famine in Gaza, and they are calling the IPC report. We'll be discussing what is IPC. So, they are calling IPC report that they have vested interest and they are backed up by Hamas. So, what is IPC report? So, it is an integrated food security phase classification. So, it's a classification. So, they have certain classification based on the availability of food, and they'll be grading them. So, what are the grades we will see? So, these are the grades: severity phases, minimal or none, stressed, crisis, emergency, and finally catastrophe or famine. So, now they say that Gaza is facing the fifth level of severity, which is very dangerous. So, it is an innovative multi-stakeholder global initiative for evidence-based analysis of food insecurity and famine risk. So, the IPC was originally developed in 2004 specifically to study Somalia by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organizations Food Security Analysis Unit. So, we have FAO. So, we have FAO's Food Security Analysis Unit, and they are the one who have developed integrated food security phase classification. So, it provides a standardized scale to classify severity of food insecurity. So, we can see that they are saying it as evidence based analysis. So, what is the allegation by Israel? We can understand that it is evidence based, and this is something that everybody should be noting down. And it helps governments, United Nations, NGOs, and donors make policy and humanitarian decisions. And it also tracks food security trends and gives early warning crisis. So, it does not just say that this country is in the danger, this area is in the danger. It tracks the trend in terms of food security, and even before it is reaching the severe level, this organization gives us the warning. So the government can plan accordingly. The government can plan such a way that they prevent the severe famine in the future. So these are the classifications. And what is the criteria for famine? That is phase 5. So when a country is declared to be at the phase 5, what is the criteria? More than 20% of household face extreme lack of food. This can be asked in the examination. So more than 20% of household is facing extreme lack of food. More than 30% of children, more than 30% of children under 5 are actually malnourished, and more than 2 deaths per 10,000 per day. So in a day, you take 10,000 people, among them at least 2 people are dying from starvation, then we say that particular area is in the phase 5. So I am repeating, more than 20% of household is facing severe lack of food, more than 30% of children under 5 are malnourished, and at least 2 people per day out of 10,000 are losing their life because of hunger. Then we can call that the country is in a severe phase. So now we are going to discuss preliminary focus based topics. First is Purvotar Vikas Setu portal, and this is launched by the Ministry of Development of Northeastern region. So this is to streamline the process of project approval and monitoring in an efficient and transparent manner. So what we have to remember, Purvotar Vikas Setu, Ministry of Development of Northeastern region. These are the 2 things we should know. Next is financial assistance for the promotion of Guru Sishya Parampara. So what is this related to? This is launched by the Ministry of Culture. And what is the aim is to provide the financial assistance to the dramatic groups, theatre groups, music, children's theatre, and all genres of performing art. This is something we should keep it in mind. So whom do they offer this assistance? This is for the performing art activities and specifically to the Guru Sishya Parampara. Like we have, there is a parampara going on. Like parampara is like a, let's say, parampara is like a group which have been, taking this art for generations. So that is the Guru Sishya Parampara, and this is to provide financial assistance to such groups. And what is the financial assistance? This is for both, Guru and the Sishya, or on the other hand, directors and the artist. For director or the Guru, 15,000 per month. In terms of Sishyas, there are 4 categories. So it ranges from 2,000 to 10,000 per month based on what category they belong to. We have to remember that this is from the Ministry of Culture. Adjournment sindai. This is very important. It means terminating a sitting of a parliament for an indefinite period, which means there is a termination and they won't mention the date when we are having the session again. That is what is terminating the parliament for an indefinite period. So without naming a day for reassembly, that is what is adjournment sindai. So this issuing power is with the presiding officer of the house, whether it is the speaker of Lok Sabha or chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So we will get question related to what is the difference between adjournment and adjournment sindai. The major difference is the reassembly date will not be announced in terms of adjournment sindai, and also the issuing power with whom it is with the preceding officer. Next is Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. So it is launched in 2021 by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. So this is to provide financial assistance to startup for proof of concept, prototype development, product trials, market entry and commercialization, specifically to nurture the innovation ecosystem. This will raise the investment from angel investors or venture capitalists, or they can even seek loans from the commercial banks. So this is the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. Next is prototype fast breeder reactor. So we have different levels. So here we are talking about it uses fast neutrons for energy generation and then employs liquid sodium as a coolant instead of water. So what is a coolant? So coolant is nothing but it is the nuclear division takes place, nuclear fission takes place, and high amount of heat will be generated, and this heat will be used to heat the coolant. The coolant will be converted into vapor, and the vapor in turn will rotate the turbine, generating the electricity. So generally we will be using water, but here they are using sodium as a coolant. This can be asked as a question in the preliminary examination. Sodium is used as a coolant here, and this is to breed more fuel than it consumes, and this will convert fertile materials like U-238 into fissile materials like plutonium-239. So, fertile materials are materials after processing will become fissile. Fissile material only can go through the nuclear fission. So, this is like producing the fuel. So, 500 megawatt electric sodium cooled reactor located in Kalpakkam, Tamil Nadu, and this is developed by the Bharatiya Nabikya Vidyut Nigam Limited, or BAVINI in terms of acronym. So, Bharatiya Nabikya Vidyut Nigam Limited. So, it is powered by the plutonium and uranium based mixed oxide, which ensures high efficiency in terms of power generation. Thank you so much. Please like this video and share it to your friends also who are preparing for UPSC, and do subscribe to the channel so that you get regular updates. Thank you.